Sarasota's market is about to explode and barely anyone sees it coming. Right now, we're sitting in that rare moment where the signs are flashing, but most buyers are asleep at the wheel. I'm talking about the deals and data that only show up when the market is about to flip, and the exact same kind of stuff I spotted before when Sarasota went on its last wild run, and if you miss it this time, you're gonna be kicking yourself. So here's the real question. Are we standing at the bottom of this market, ready to launch into the next wave? And if we are, how do we take advantage of it before it's too late? So to really get why Sarasota's market moves the way it does, you've got to look back at how this city was built. In the early 1900s, Chicago businesswoman Bertha Palmer came down here and saw something that no one else did. She wasn't just vacationing on the beach. She bought up thousands of acres, carved out ranches, and forced Sarasota to begin industrializing. That move set the tone for Sarasota's future. This has always been a city shaped by visionaries. Every era, someone comes in and reimagines what living here could look like. We didn't just get houses, we got golf course communities, luxury waterfront estates, a cultural downtown, and now master planned neighborhoods like Lakewood Ranch and Welland Park. That's the difference between Sarasota and other Florida cities. Orlando pushes volume, Tampa sprawls. Sarasota, it builds lifestyle. Growth here has always been intentional, and that's why this market doesn't crash the way others do. It pauses, then it levels up. And right now, the signs are pointing to the next big level up, which brings us to the signal that I always watch for, the one that tells you exactly when Sarasota is about to flip from slow to scorching hot. One of the biggest signs that the market's about to flip in Sarasota is what I call the head scratcher sale, the deal that makes 0 cents on paper until you realize it's the market shifting. At the peak in 2022, I remember seeing homes close at prices that had everyone shaking their head, people paying way over what they felt was even logical. Well, that was the top. And right now, we're seeing those head scratcher sales again, but not at the top this time, but at the inflection point. It's the market whispering that the momentum is about to shift, and I'll show you more about that in just a minute. So the question becomes, if these signals are flashing, what does that mean for buyers who are sitting on the sidelines? Well, spotting these shifts is one part of the game. Knowing how to actually act on them is another, and that's where most buyers miss out. And if you're watching this right now, it's because you're trying to figure out if this city is right for you, or you're trying to time it out perfectly. I want you to go ahead and fill out my buyer questionnaire in the description below. My real estate team is literally the best at helping people do 2 things. One is navigating the current market, whether that's new construction incentives or resales, and 2 is narrow down different neighborhoods or locations to help you find that sense of community that you want and long for here. So fill out that form or text or email the information on the screen right now. Now, let's be real. The Sarasota market, it's been in a slump. Prices pulled back almost 20 to 30% from the highs of 2022. Inventory stacked up, price cuts became common, and a lot of homes, they just sat. For buyers, this was the sweet spot, the window where they could negotiate, grab incentives, and walk away with deals that felt like steals. But here's the thing, slumps don't last forever in Sarasota. This isn't a market that bleeds out over years. It pauses, it resets, and then it comes roaring back. What we've been living through the past year, it isn't a collapse. It's just the reset stage. And if you know Sarasota's history, you know what comes next. So why did Sarasota hit the brakes? Well, there's 2 big reasons. First, hurricanes. When a storm like that tears through Florida, it doesn't just hit the coast, it hits confidence. Buyers freeze, insurance companies tighten up, and it takes about a year before people feel comfortable again. Just look down at Fort Myers and Sanibel Island from a couple of years ago. It's the same recovery cycle every time. Second, the election. Like clockwork, presidential years every 4 years, it slows the housing market down. People don't want to make $1 million decision while they're glued to the news wondering what's coming next. It's not that demand disappears, it just goes into hibernation. So stack those 2 together, a massive storm followed by an election, and you get the slump that we just lived through. But here's where it gets interesting. Storm recovery is a 12-month cycle. Election year pauses, same thing, which means both these headwinds are about to lift at the exact same time. And when they do, Sarasota's market doesn't just wake up, it takes off. So here's what happens when you stack Sarasota storm cycle on top of the election cycle. You get a coiled spring. Pressure building, and then it rips loose all at once. Think about it. After Hurricane Ian hit Fort Myers a couple years ago, it sat quiet for almost a year. Like, I literally called down to realtors when we went through our storms last year and I said, hey, what am I about to walk through? What do you know that I don't know? And they told me this. They said, our market was dead for about 11 months. And by the end of the 11th month, it just felt like back to the races again. Buyers came out of the woodworks. It was crazy. So I think that same thing is going to happen here in Sarasota because Sarasota runs on the same type of rhythm. Add the fact that once that election dust also settles, people flood back into the market with clarity and confidence, and you've got two major forces releasing at the same time. That's why I'm calling this the setup. We're not talking slow, steady growth. We're talking about Sarasota slingshot from a lull into this next wave of demand. And the people who spotted early, they're the ones who win. And the proof is already showing up in the numbers. Let me show you exactly what I mean, because some of you are probably doubting all of this right here, right now. The rebound is already flashing. Downtown at the Quay, units that sat quietly for months, they suddenly have multiple reservations over the last 6 to 8 weeks. That doesn't happen in a dead market. That's demand starting to kick the door down. And over in a newer neighborhood that's no longer building, so it's a resales, I watched a house sell in December for $600,000. By May of this year, another one closed at $521,000. That's like 13 or 14% drop off in a matter of 5 months. Now, that same exact floor plan, a couple months later, just sold for $570,000. That's not random. That's momentum starting to turn on. Palmer Ranch is heating back up too. Communities that were offering steep incentives last year are tightening inventory and moving homes again. And Sky Ranch, same story. Builders there went from begging buyers to lock in contracts without throwing in the kitchen sink. These aren't one-off wins. They're signals, proof that Sarasota spring is already uncoiling. And the question becomes, how do you put yourself in front of that wave instead of chasing it? I mean, if you're thinking about moving to Sarasota, Florida, it's pretty simple. You're in the window. The deals that felt easy a few months ago are already drying up. Incentives are shrinking, sellers are getting bolder, and builders are pulling back on the giveaways. That's the shift. When you wait until the headlines start screaming, Sarasota's hot again, you've already missed the sweet spot. The smart money moves before the crowd. If you're relocating, this is the time to get strategic. Zero in on the neighborhoods that are still offering leverage, whether that's a builder holding inventory in Sky Ranch or a resale in Waterside that hasn't caught up to the comps yet. Position yourself now while you can still negotiate and ride the upswing instead of chasing it. Because make no mistake, Sarasota isn't coasting back, it's accelerating. And the buyers who act on this stage are the ones who end up telling the stories of, we bought at the right time. I've been on the ground here for years, helping almost 300 families make the move to Sarasota. I've watched this market peak, I've watched it pull back, and now I'm watching it set up for its next run. If you're serious about relocating, now is when you want someone in your corner who knows the cycles, the neighborhoods, and the builders inside and out. That's what my real estate team does. We match people with the right move at the right time so they don't get caught chasing the market. We literally just negotiated an amazing deal with a builder that wasn't even offering these incentives. There's a few builders and neighborhoods in the area that are gearing up for new phases to open. So what that means for you, a buyer, is if they're getting ready to open up new phases, they likely have inventory that corporate has to get off the books. So that's where you want to align yourself with a realtor that knows exactly what they're doing. So if Sarasota's on your radar, don't wait until everyone else wakes up. Call, text, or email us. All of our info is below. It's on the screen right now. Fill out that buyer question in the video description as well. And let's figure out the play that gets you in before this market really takes off. And if you're still curious if Sarasota is right for you, don't stop here. Check out these playlists where we break down the top neighborhoods and what it's really like living in Sarasota. Go ahead and enjoy binge watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.